Hey!
There are many food and drink stalls you can visit for delicious tastings. There will be entertainment on the stage. There will be Morris dancing and maple dancing, which you can all join in. Please enjoy the day and allow the Dorset Food and Venison Festival officially open.
Hey!
Save the Queen.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I'm not usually, if anyone knows me, I'm always immaculately on time. Why are you laughing?
It's true. Sorry, the feedback's a bit. I might put the stand a little bit lower.
We got volume control. Tiny, little bit lower if you can.
Those are my personal in-joints. But welcome to the first Dorset Food and Venison Festival. Hosted in an amazing
House, close green. It's quite nice because I'm from a company called Dorset Charcuterie, you can see on my back, and we're based literally 2 miles that way, which is quite nice. And Christopher, who owns the house, is also my landlord as well, so I have to be on my best behaviour today. But we're going to give you a little demo on how we skin and then butcher a deer, and I'm also going to show you a very quick little thing at the end. We're going to do a little venison carpaccio, which is going to be cured with a Dorset gin, which is quite nice. So We've also asked one of the gentlemen that's shot the deer to come over and just give you a little chat about seasons, etc. Just going to echo a little bit in the cavity, so I do apologise. So this is, can anyone work out what deer it is? Anyone know? It must be, yeah, male or female? Yeah, she's got boobies. And not very big, but they're perfectly formed. But they, so this was shot by Kevin and Michael Rainback, who have a stand that way in Dorset. You can see the top of the black stand over there, they're cooking. And they are the Dorset Wild Boar and Venison Company. And they obviously do farmed wild boar and wild venison. It's pretty amazing stuff. And we're connected with them in that we make them some charcuterie. So we make, oh sorry, it's going to be a bit feedbacky in there. We take their deer and their wild boar and turn it into air-dried salami, ham, etc. So that's where our connection is. We also work a little bit with Salt Pig over there, who's another, wonderful advocate for local seasonal food, especially venison. So I'm not sure what's James, what are you cooking? Is it venison?
Yeah.
Venison. So yeah, there's some venison over there as well to eat in a minute when it's ready to. You'll see cooked over fire. It's this kind of calling card, I think. If you've ever seen James cooking before, he loves to cook over fire and like charcoal, proper cooking. So I'm just gonna take this skin up. Now this was actually, like I said, a female, a doe. This was a female.
Say after that.
Yeah, fine. But it was in calf, so it was when it was shot. So you've actually got a very lovely layer of fat, which is what Sika are actually known for. Yeah, you go. There is Kevin, who's the stalker. You shot this one. Where did you hit it? Just outside Wareham. So again, very local. The feedback, unfortunately, is going to be a bit of an issue around here. So, Kevin, what are the seasons for Sika?
You've got 2 seasons. Obviously, the females are in different seasons. When the males are big female seasons, the colour from the 1st of November to the end of March, and the males are from the beginning of April, August to the end of April.
So she's just out.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I usually have a skinning knife, but I think Ben's tried to sharpen it. Ben's my business partner, and it is very blunt. So I'm using my little boning knife today. But I'm going to want some audience participation, if we can, in a minute, just to help me tug it, because I don't think you're strong enough, are you? And you need someone out the crowd to give it a bit of a tug.
Yeah. You've got some big muscles. Like you got some big muscles?
No. So I would have hoped that most of you guys that come or have come to the Venison Festival have tried venison at some point, or at least are interested in trying it at some point. And obviously this is a perfect example. Any vegetarians here? One. But that's fine, because these are vegetarians, so you can eat them. So that's fine. So venison is vegetarian. It's all good. But I think, being a butcher and charcutier, I eat a lot of meat. And I always say, that I have a lot of respect for someone who won't eat meat because they don't like the idea that it's died, than I do for someone who eats meat but doesn't want to hear about where it's come from. And I think it's very important, if you eat meat, you make that decision. You can't borrow it. The animal has had to die. So that's why something like what we do, our charcuterie, we use the whole beast. and pretty much everything is used. And you give it as much sort of value, I suppose, and make it go as far as you can. And come over the bottom. And you can see this, like I said, because she was in car, it's got a nice bit of fat on it still. And that's what Seeker are known for, aren't they? I mean, that's my favourite venison. What's yours? Seeker as well. I mean, it's actually a lot of people's favourite deer. Certainly, if you do any, much cooking with it. Right? Has anyone feeling strong? Anyone? I'm gonna have to pick someone otherwise. Who wants to come and give me a tug?
Yeah. Someone? Oh,
Yeah.
someone there.
Yes, fantastic. One and then another. Yeah. Two, there you go. One each, lovely. One side each. Okay, that should pop off. So, if you grab one side, sir, you grab the other, and you've got to put it out that way. Right, and down. Fantastic, look at that. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to get dirty. Amazing. Thank you very much indeed. So, just going to whip round the last leg here. So that's, I would have said, not being a stalker myself, that's a pretty good shot, is it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. What you want to try to do is get it behind the shoulder. Obviously, some wastes the meat from the shoulder, but it still gets into all the vitals and the lungs and the liver. The heart is usually quite low. What you'll find with the Seeker is notoriously hardy deer. If you shoot them in the heart, they'll run 150, 200 metres. Depending on what terrain they're in, you can lose them. Obviously, a good chance of having a dog with you. If they're shorter in the lungs, they run out of steam quicker, and they're technically dead as soon as the bullet hits them anyway. But it's just obviously once the air is out of their lungs, they can't run them. But they are dead. But it's just
Oh, that's an important thing, Again, like I mentioned before, some people are squeamish about, animals, and that's, fine. I think if you make that decision, you don't want to eat it because of this, and you're not okay with it, it's fine. But I think it's so important, but I suppose that's why the Venison Festival come about, is to explain to people about why deer is shot. A lot of people don't realise how many deer there are around here. There's a lot, isn't there? There's a lot that needs to be controlled, for farming reasons, etc. So it is getting killed. Unfortunately, that's a fact. So I think it's important to educate those. There you are, guys. Anyone for a rug?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yes, yeah.
You want it?
Yeah.
Come around, put it around your. You need a nice sort of chief name. What's your name, sir?
sorry.
Terry?
Yeah.
Chief Terry. I'm not going to put it on you. Fantastic. There you are, sir. Fantastic. So, with the skins, I don't know if anybody's ever worked skins before, but they can obviously be canned with a bit of work.
Yeah.
You know how to do it?
Before checking that.
Fantastic. I'm sure. Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. In that way, gnarly and very sinewy tend to be very tasty, but just need more cooking. We run from then the neck up into the shoulders. Okay. So you've got these boots. I'm going to take them off as we go. So we've got a whole shoulder of venison here. Now that's a lovely slow roast as it is, like that. It's really tasty. Again, I'd probably like a bit more fat on it, but there's no reason why you can't cover it in pancetta. And if you need a sort of good pancetta, go to www.trycookie.com. Cheap, I know. But yeah, so really lovely slow roast on the bone for a couple of friends. Really simple. Just chuck it in the oven, forget about it, nice and low, and it'll be amazing. Just fall off the bone, you'll be able to eat it with a spoon. You do it right. Very tasty indeed. I'll take the other one off. Okay. Another use for that is if you take it all off the bone, it's where a lot of the dice will come from if you're making a stew. They're very, very good. And then the bones within the shoulder are really good little marrow bones. They're very tasty indeed. Oh, this famous Mark. Yes, so lovely marrow bones. I tend to tap them out and roast them in the oven, and then eat the marrow out of it. Very, really yummy, really good. Then the next bit, we've got underneath the shoulder that's come off. You've got where the neck goes up to here. We've got the neck fillet that runs up here and then eventually turns about there, turns into the true fillet. Like what a lot of people know, I think any cut of venison, the most famous, I suppose, is probably the fillet, which I'm going to show you a little bit of a recipe in a minute. But this bit here, we usually refer to the collar, okay, or the chuck in beef. But it's a nice stewing cut again in the animal. You get nice big chunky bits of stewing venison out of there. But in a pig, we use, and again you can go on to www.sleepsharpfood.co.uk and see our copper. Now the copper we use is an air-dried collar. Okay, so if this was a slightly larger animal, we take that off as we would the fillet in a minute, and we can cure that and then air dry it and then eat it eventually without having to cook it. So then it runs up into the fillet, which I'm going to show you now. I should be doing it with my new toy that I have in my back pocket, and in my front pocket here. It's a wonderful new bushcraft knife that we've got from a company over that way called Bare Blades, which I will land on waves. Amazing knife. And we're just releasing our new bushcraft courses that will be running over at Arn over the summer. We've got 6 or 7 dates set. So again, if you Google the website, you can see a link from there to our new food, fire and knives courses. They're like I said, they're sort of a gentle introduction into bushcraft with an emphasis on cooking wild forage and local ingredients, as well as preparation and hands-on preparation of things like this. So we get to play with wild game, including rabbit skinning, fish, whatever fish we catch as well. So it's a really cool weekend. And obviously there's going to be a bit of knife skill in there as well. So this little bit of meat that I'm taking off here is the fillet. It's not the true fillet, it's actually the loin of venison, but it's usually referred to as a fillet because of the way that it's trimmed out for the table, like to cook with, which I'll show you again in just a minute. Okay. And then I'm going to leave the other fillet whole, I think, just for now, and then talk a little bit more about the legs. Okay, so these legs not usually referred to as a leg of venison. Does anyone usually know what they usually call? Haunch, yeah, exactly. Which the haunch really encompasses the whole of the leg, from the rump, which is here, the top of the top of your bum, and the bottom, right to the bottom of your back, and you can sort of tell that where the hips touch. Okay, and that's where the rump is, and that whole thing is usually referred to as a haunch. It's the whole back end of the animal. And that's a wonderful cut. Again, you can roast that if you've got lots of friends. You can roast the whole one covered in pancetta or whatever. So it bastes nicely. Again, if it's sort of autumn, they've got a lot more fat in it, don't they? They're sort of rut. But if you haven't got that many friends, the centre cut is slightly smaller. And if you haven't got any friends, even less friends, you can have a single steak off of it, because you actually take the meat out. There's 3 muscles within any sort of leg of meat. Which are the top side, the silver side, and the top rump. And the top side and the silver side together will make what we call a horseshoe steak. So it's a boneless steak of venison. And that's a wonderful cut, very, very tasty indeed. So I'm going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to show you the carpaccio, and hopefully we're going to have a little nibble. So I'm just going to run over there and take my fillet. So the dogs don't eat them. And it's quite gnarly, so wild horseradish isn't going to be, you know, as perfect, and a lot of wild. Am I back? Yeah, a lot of wild stuff isn't quite as pretty as the commercially grown stuff, and that's kind of, I think, a bit of the appeal about it. It doesn't look as pretty, but by Joe, it stinks. And you'll see, if you can hand that round, sir, and just have a good whiff of that, because you'll see it's got a real good nose. It's almost like a, you know, wasabi, a proper horseradish. And that's literally growing in the fields at our work. It grows all around the hedgerows. It's really simple and quite obvious once you know the leaf. You can see it everywhere. It looks just like a large dot. Obviously,
like it is.
this time of year, it's tiny.
It's now blocking the main road from Mr. Lee's house down to the event zone. It's blocking all cars. It's carnage.
Okay, we'll put it out of the video. We'll send the message out again.
It is the same driver that's now blocking the R6 and that one turning around.
Okay, but is the guy with the car?
That's why the key is
We have your attention once again, please. The red sea I've just mentioned is now blocking the whole road and has a queue of traffic going all the way along. It needs to be moved immediately. That's the red sea. If you can park there, please move straight away. YD11VUN. Obviously, you know who you are. Please move the car immediately. Thank you very much indeed.
That wind, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Now, we've got some of the herbs as well that it's marinated in with the Dorset gin, so the gorse flowers. So again, give that a really nice mix. Just make some mini burgers. Now I've also made some little sourdough rolls to go with it. At La Fosse, I try and do virtually everything from scratch myself. It's just me in the kitchen, so it's not necessarily that easy. So we tend to have 5 starters, 5 main courses and 5 desserts. So it's not an immense menu, but you know where things are sourced from. So just clean the meat off those hands. Now to go with it, you think, well, what sort of things can accompany the burger and the shank? Well, I think earthy things work quite nicely, and you don't get any more earthy than using beets. So here, I've got 3 different types of beet, and with any luck, I'll find my knife that I've been using. So, I'm just going to clean that off. So nowadays, it's really good because we are actually able to use different sorts of beets. We always think of traditional red beetroot. So obviously that sort of appearance, but we also get golden beetroots, and with any luck this will be a candy one if I've picked up, yes. So we've got candy stripes in there as well. Unfortunately, with the candy one, unless you cook it very quickly, the colours tend to leach out, so it just becomes a lovely rosé pink colour. Now, there's several ways of cooking beetroot. I adore beetroot that's being cooked slowly. So this is being baked. So it's been baked very simply. I've just put it in the oven, a little bit of salt, that's it. Very simple. Now we can also, as well as doing that, you can cook it in its own liquor, and you can put a dash of cider vinegar, apple juice, things like that. A little bit of acid works well with it, but you can also put in a little bit of extra sweetness. Some people put in loads of sugar, but actually beets, they already have plenty of sugar in there already, hence why you've got like sugar beet crops, and historically beets have been used to make sugar when people haven't been able to get cane sugar. So it's quite a versatile vegetable, and the fact that you can just put it in the oven, it peels very easily. Yes, if you're going to cook it in the stock syrup and your vinegars and things like that, then you obviously need to peel it beforehand because you really want all the flavours to get in. But by baking it or roasting them whole, you're very much concentrating the flavours. So just preparing these. Now I'm just going to take out, make sure that the brochettes are fine. Take them out because I don't want them to overcook. We've got beautiful venison, so you don't want that to be spoilt. So I'm just going to put it underneath there to keep warm. Now, a dish that I do quite often, and I've took the odd award for with Dorset Food and Drink, which is a great organisation that's helped put on today, was a beetroot bhaji with smoked pigeon and crab. So it's like surf and turf. But today I'm going to take an element of that dish and is to make some beetroot bhajis. So what we need first is some onions or shallots, either way. We're going to just finely slice it. So it's alright, don't do it like this at home. So just going to get a little bit of the chopped shallot. Now, this is a very sharp knife, so if you're going to cut yourself, it's better using a sharp knife because that heals well, whereas if you've got a big knife which is blunt, the amount of force that you're putting on something to cut, you're going to damage your hand quite severely if you do cut yourself. Whereas a little knife like that, yeah, hopefully won't. So, just going to sweat off the shallots, which is going to be going into the bhaji, and at the same time we're going to put in some of those Indian spices you'd expect. So we've got a little bit of turmeric in there. We've also got a little mix there of various spices. Now, we're saying we're sort of like doing a little bit of a street food. Now here we've got smoked paprika, so even if it's not barbecue weather, which you could say is today, you can still get that taste and that feel. So we're just going to put some smoked paprika in there. You don't want to use a huge amount because you don't want everything to taste too smoky. But we're going to cook out the spices a little bit, put a little bit more of the oil in there, and we're going to use a few whole spices as well. So in here, it's my little tin of various spices that I take around with me. I'm going to use a little bit of nutmeg. People think, oh, that's just to go with rice pudding and that sort of thing, but no, you can use that in savoury dishes as well. Also got cardamom pods. Just going to peel that open.
I need to make a gentle calibration! It wasn't me! It wasn't me! Right! It's a miracle! Forward accuracy!
Marshals to the tent, please. All marshals to the tent.
First aid,
might land on.
Hey!
We'll have to, we're just coming down now to see what shows up. Please die.
Fire somebody!
Right, all the blue and yellow ribbons, round you go, round the pole. That's it, round you go. All the blue and yellows, that's it, all skip round. That's it, off you go. That's it, skipping gets bonus mark, excellent. That's it, all the reds and greens, hold your ribbons nice and high. Danny, the little boy there, show how to lift his arm up. That's it, now, all the people in the middle, stop. All of the people on the outside go round the other way. That's it, off you go. That's it, bring it nice and high. And everyone on the outside, stop. Everyone in the middle go round again. That's it, people in the middle go round. That's it. People on the outside, spread yourselves out nice and evenly. If you can see a big gap, fill it. That's it. Then they'll fill the gaps a bit. And stop. And the outsides. Outsides go. That's it.
That's supposed to be from there. Yeah, it's supposed to.
That's it. Nice skipping. Well done. That's it. Keep those nice and high. Right. Now stop on pulling the ribbon too tight. If the pole is leaning towards you, this is a hint. Okay? That's it. Off you go. That's it. Skip. Right. And stop. People in the middle go round.